Hey everybody, I've been doing the 25 day, 25 push up challenge. So today's my last day. Um, so, with that being said, I kind of wanted to talk about my experience with mental health. And, you know, I'm kind of an open book. I've always been that way. So I don't really feel like I have nothing to hide. Um, you know, Nothing to be ashamed of. And I think that's kind of the stigma that's behind mental health in the US, especially, is something that people is taboo to talk about. It's a shameful thing if you're feeling a certain way, if you're having, um, you know, emotions, if you're just kind of living life. I mean, not everything's gonna. We have this idea that everything's supposed to be good and you're supposed to be feeling happy all the time, and that's just not how that's not what it is. It's okay to feel down. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to kind of feel a certain way about things. You know, Kind of embracing that every aspect of life, all shades of the rainbow, I guess you can say. For me personally, this past year has been very difficult, extremely difficult. The hardest um, yet. I always looked at myself as a outside thinking person, outside the box, just always, that's just who I was, and or who I am. But I think it was last year, September 13th. It was a Friday the 13th. It was a full moon. I still remember it like yesterday. I was at the gym. I was excited because my friend Sam Vulata was coming over with his father-in-law Navi. We're gonna drink some kava. I was so excited to have friends over and just hang out. But I was feeling tired that day. I was tired. It was a Friday. I work in the air freight industry, so Fridays are very difficult, stressful days. But I came home. I was just like, you know what? Okay, they're coming over at 7. I'm gonna go to the gym. But there was something inside me telling me, don't go. Like you're tired, just chill out. Make some dinner, enjoy the time with your friends. And I went to the gym and I got a really good workout in. I was on my last set, last rep, and my heart palpitated. Right, I felt something. And I was like, dude, what the hell was that? And so I jumped up right away. But as soon as I jumped up, I knew something wasn't right because I got really dizzy. I got really lightheaded. I got dizzy. And I was like, oh, okay, so let me take a deep breath. Took a deep breath, didn't calm down. Had another 4, one after the other, after the other, after the other. I was like, oh shit, something's really wrong. So I started walking down the hallway at the local Y I used to go to, and I started to feel really dizzy. And I'm like, okay, why am I leaning like this? Like, what's going on? I thought I was having a heart attack, right? But something inside me was telling me, like, okay, you're not having a heart attack because, okay, your arm's not numb, your left arm's not numb, you have no pain in your chest. This is something else. So I kind of looked at it as, oh shoot, I'm having a panic attack, right? So I went to go get my daughter. She was in the playroom. She was having a lot of fun. She didn't want to. She didn't want to go. So then I went in there, and then I just started spinning out even more. Spinning, spinning, spinning. I was like, dude, what the hell's going on? Um, you know, um, so me being who I am, and I don't like to let people down. I called up Sam right away. I was like, "Hey Sam," I said, "Something's really wrong with my heart. You can't come over today, dude. I'm really sorry." And then I called Laurie. Laurie was with Lorenzo at his gymnastics, and I said, "Babe," I said, "Something's really wrong with me." I said, "I don't know what's happening." I sat down, and I'm just like, "Shit, I'm gonna die." Like this is like this is it. And I started thinking to myself, like, dude, there's so much more I want to do in my life. My baby's gonna be born soon, and all of this, and like, what is happening? Went to the doctors, chest X-rays. They kept me in because my heart rate was completely spiked. And they're just like, whoa, we need to keep you in. So I was there for about 6, 7 hours, um, and they did multiple blood tests. First time I was on an IV. Crazy experience. I had to pee in I don't know what those things are called, bedpan or whatever. I had no experience in any of this stuff, and I was by myself, because Laurie was with the kids. They stayed with me for as long as they could, but you know, it was a weird experience, man. And then Laurie, we called a babysitter. Laurie came back and helped me go pee. I didn't know how to. I mean, it's just so weird, But so I was just thinking, okay, I'm gonna wake up in the morning and everything's gonna be cool. A few days go by, I still feel the same way. Like, damn, this just like something's not right. So I just kind of figured that it's taken a little while for me to get back into where I'm supposed to be. Now, let me preface all this by telling you guys that when I was a senior in high school, that was really hard for me too. That's I first experienced this kind of stuff, and extreme anxiety, wondering why the sky is blue, and then that question bothering me for days on end. I didn't want to tell anybody. This is back in 1999, right? So there was no Google, there was no YouTube, had no idea what was going on. I didn't want to burden my parents. I didn't want them thinking I was crazy. I didn't want to tell anybody in the family because I didn't want them thinking I was crazy, right? So I was doing all this on my own. Had no idea what was happening. I had no idea what was happening. And so, you know, but it just kind of went away after about a year. It's really strange how it went away too, because I played on the FANCA team, represented the U.S., the Muslim soccer team that we went from the Bay down to Fiji. It was the craziest thing, man. As soon as I got off the airplane, everything went away. Everything went away. Just the constant obsessive thinking, nagging, worrying, it was all gone. And I was just like, I just kind of looked around and I was just like, whoa, this went away. And this is why I have a deeper connection with the Fiji Islands. I know that's where my family's from and everything, but it holds a different place in my heart. But anyways, kind of moving on. So I didn't want to. I didn't want to fall back into that kind of process where it's going to take me like a year to get over. I don't know what's going on. I thought this time I have everything figured out, right? Okay, I know exactly what this is. I'm going to take care of this. I got to get better by November before the baby's born. I have to be there for Laurie and everything. I didn't realize I was doing everything wrong. I was putting pressure on myself to get better quickly, to have all these thoughts. I was, so in the process of me thinking that I was getting better, I was actually making things much, much, much worse for myself. It was, yeah, I don't know how to explain it, and now thinking back on it, I still have issues that I'm working through, physical symptoms that just kind of by themselves just kind of start wearing off. But it's been thankfully, I have friends that are very supportive, and these are friends that I just met very recently, but they're like family, like my friend's wife, she's a therapist, I spoke to her a few times, and so, and that's like another thing that I kind of want to get into is, I feel like, if you go see a therapist, number one, good luck trying to find one that's covered under a good one that's covered under your insurance. Um, I gotta tell you, man, like when I was like right in the thick of it, like in November was when it was really freaking bad. November, December, like I was so desperate. I'd call psychologists, put me on some kind of medication, do something. Nobody was available for 3 months, and the thought of dealing with this for 3 months was just not cool. It was not cool, and so um, I went through maybe three or four therapists until I finally came across a coach, an anxiety coach. I figured, let me. I don't know what else to do at this point. You know what I'm saying? Um, so I reached out to him, And I mean, the effect that being in that, having him as a coach and the group that he has helped so much. And see, one thing that happens when you have anxiety, your mind is constantly trying to figure out why you're having these thoughts. Why are you feeling this way? Why is your heart racing for no reason? Why are you dizzy for no reason? So you start looking at the food that you're eating. Maybe you're walking too fast. I used to have an issue brushing my teeth in the morning because I'd bend down like this and I'd be hyper aware of my heart. I'm like, oh my God, I'm stressed out, I'm stressed out, I'm stressed out, and it was just like if I closed my eyes when I was showering, I was just, oh my God, I'm so dizzy, I'm so dizzy. I start opening my eyes. You are hyper aware of everything, and uh, it essentially turned into a thing called depersonalization, derealization. I had no idea that this was even a thing, right? And why I'm telling everybody this is that um, just to kind of let you know that you're not alone. There's nothing wrong with you. Um, that is actually perfectly normal. Your body's working the way it should be. Um, and so essentially, what happens is you disassociate from yourself because you're under so much pressure and stress in your mind for so long that your brain's all like, okay, we can't take this anymore. We're shutting off. And I remember coming home, and it was in November. I looked at my family, and I was just like, I didn't feel anything. I didn't feel anything. And I was like, what the hell's going on? Like, what is happening now? I and and my spiritual I'm a very spiritual person by nature. I've always been like this. I've always been an existential. Always think very deep about things. Always look at things from a different angle. Um, and then I started having these existential thoughts, which led into just feelings of hopelessness and despair. Intrusive thoughts that I still at this point am not comfortable sharing. You know, I mean, I thought I was done. I thought I was just like, oh shit, this is it. This is I can't go on like this. This is brutal. Um, but in that process, with the help of of my anxiety coach and things and just my own research, I highly recommend a book by Dr. Claire Weeks called Help and Hope and Help for Your Nerves. Very good book. Like, she was a pioneer of anxiety. But you know everything that I was doing, and mind you, at this time I just had a baby, right, newborn. I left my job of 12 and a half years. Loved everybody that I worked with over there, honestly. Um, but it's just, I don't believe in coincidences. And everything happened all at once in my life, all within a 3 month time frame. Change of job, baby, we moved. Um, you know, all my sense of securities were gone, right? And so I think that was probably just like a little bit too much, for me at that point. But anyways, um, you know, one of the things that that everybody that has experienced this knows, that you have to accept your thoughts and feelings. And this was very disturbing and hard for me because of my intrusive thoughts. How can I accept that kind of thinking? How can I accept that? How can I accept that? Because that's not who I am. So in that process, I was still fighting with myself, right? So it wasn't until I completely gave in. Now you can call it um, giving in to the dark side or whatever, but you know, whatever you want to call it. I mean, at the end of the day, I just had to accept everything across the whole spectrum, and it was only then that I was able to start pulling out of of my issues, right? And so, I mean, it was so crazy. Like, I'd move my hand, right? I'm moving my hand, and then Who is the person controlling me to move my hand? That kind of shit. All the time. All the time. You're talking and you hear your own voice and you're just like, what I mean, yeah, so the people that have gotten over this and through this and know what I'm talking about, that didn't have access to all this information we have now, you have my complete and total, I mean, respect, like unlike any other. I mean, honestly, because it's very easy to just think that you're losing it, or that you have lost it. So here's the thing: these are all defense mechanisms, because your brain is there, or its sole purpose is to keep you alive and safe. So it's putting yourself, it's doing all of this. It's making you hyper aware of your surroundings, hyper aware of everything, because it needs to make sure that you're safe. So it gets into this thing of just like, is this person safe? He's not safe. Look, he's arguing with me. He's arguing with his thoughts. He's not safe still. So you just have to chill. And someone that's in a high anxiety state with sensitized nerves, I mean, just telling the person to chill, that's not cool, right? He's just like, the fuck you mean, chill? Like, nah, you don't know what I'm going through. You don't know what's happening. And, you know, I feel like for men in particular, it's this thing that we all gotta stick together, man. You know, we all gotta stick together. We gotta get rid of this theme of, um, it's a shameful thing to feel this way. You know, if you go and ask somebody and just like that had a physical, like, you know, they had a cold last weekend, right? You know, be like, hey, how have you been? Oh, I had a cold last weekend. You know, there's no issue saying that. What's the problem? You know, just like you go talk to somebody, why can't you just say, you know what, I've been really stressed, I've been having some issues, you know, and that's it. We need to get it to a point where we can start talking about things just like we would about a physical ailment. You know, we're so caught up in our physicality in this life, what we look like, how much weight we put on. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I'm kind of sensitive about my weight right now, because in the midst of anxiety, I lost like 30, 40 pounds. And because I couldn't eat properly. You know, I'm saying all this. You know, those of you that have made it through to watch this much of the video, you guys are probably like, dude, I had no idea. I put a few random posts here and there, but like, you would have no idea. So now I'm putting the weight back on. To me, it's like a sign of, I'm feeling better. Like I'm 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 pulling myself out of it, you know. And so, yeah, so that's, you know, that's why this mental health stuff needs to be taken very seriously, man. Um, you know, we got to get rid of the stigma that it's a shameful thing. It's not a shameful thing. You know, there's all kinds of ways to take care of yourself, you know. And and I'll put myself out there, like, if anybody watching this has needs any kind of, just anything to say or just to talk about, reach out to me. I'm good. You know, I mean, I have a high demand job now. I always have, but it's just like, I'll reach out to you when I mentally can. You know, before I used to really wear myself thin. I'd be at work. Oh shit, this person needs me. I'm gonna text message them back right away. Hell no. You take time for yourself. When you have time to share with other people, go ahead, and you can go ahead and do that, right? Um, you know, but you learn a lot about yourself. You learn a lot about yourself. That one of the biggest things, and Eckhart Tolle talks about this, and I never understood it. Had I not gone through this experience, a lot of the things that I looked at and valued spiritually before all of this happened, they were just thoughts, they were just ideas. Now I understand them full firsthand. And it's kind of one of those things where I always wanted to, I would pray and ask that I would be able to understand things a little bit deeper. All I gotta say is that, be careful what you pray for, what you ask for. Be prepared to have your prayers answered in a way that might not be the most comfortable way, and that's okay. You know, sometimes you got to learn things the hard way. It's always how I've been. I've always been very stubborn, learn things the hard way, and I learn things through experience. So my prayer's been answered. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, It's like one of these things, and where you're not your thoughts. And this is what Eckhart Tolle talks about, but I never understood it. It was just like this experience has forced me to understand that. Had I not had the intrusive thoughts and existential thinking, I wouldn't understand. I would have never understood that, because you always just think, okay, I'm my thoughts, I'm my feelings, I'm all of this. You're not though. You're not though. Your thoughts are just, it's just a bunch of shit that just comes up. Um, Now, when you're like cool and everything like that, all of us have intrusive thoughts, all of us. But when you're not in an anxious state and stuff like that, it just, oh, that was kind of weird, and just you don't even think about it again. When you're anxious, you latch onto it, and you're just like, dude, why in the hell would I think of something like that? And it bothers you, and what ends up happening? You start getting more and more stress hormones in your system, and then dude, you're just like heart racing, heart palpitations, you're dizzy, you're just like you're through the roof, right? So I mean, if anybody's watching this, and they can relate, uh, just know that you're still in there. I've learned that observer that's in each and every one of us, that observer, when you want to go do something bad, or like not something bad, but like something that you're not too comfortable with, that voice, that inner deep voice that comes in and says, hey, probably shouldn't do that. Don't do that. Think about this. That's who you are, and that's what you got to remember. Your conditioning and stuff is the one that pushes you back and be like, hey, go ahead and do it. Go do it. Go. It'll be fun. But I was always a person that, okay, I'm my thoughts, I'm my feelings. But that concept of understanding that you're not your thoughts, that that takes some getting used to. You're talking about decade. For me, at least, I'm 39 now, right? So I'm gonna be 40 in December. So you're talking about decades of conditioning, right? So it's not gonna go away right away. And so, um, yeah. So I just wanted to share that. I've gone on for a long time now, but I wanted to share that with you guys. I think let's make this mental health thing, something that's not a shameful thing. Don't be ashamed. In Hawaii, I read some. I have an affinity towards Hawaii as well, and I read about Ho'oponopono, in how, as a community, if there was something wrong, regardless of what the person did, as a community, as a family, they all sat together and they all discussed things. Sometimes for 3 freaking days straight, until everything was resolved. There was nothing ever left. You know what I'm saying? We need to get back to that. They were never they were never made ashamed of. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, we need to get back to that. We need to get back to being comfortable to talk to our loved ones. You know, um, you know, and being part of that village. Being part of that village again. We need to get back to the old ways. I'm telling you, we need to get back to the old ways, because the new ways ain't working too well, is it? Um, just being honest. I mean, it's my opinion. You can disagree. I don't care. That's me. It's not working. It's not working at all. So we need to get back to that. You know what I'm saying? So, if anybody feels a certain way, talk about things, man. I heard a statistic. I didn't fact check this though, but the person that kind of said it was, I believe him. Every year, there's 800,000 people in the world that commit suicide. 800,000. Okay. Now, this was a stat from a few years ago, because the video is a few years old. Now, this gentleman had said that that's more people that are killing themselves, taking their own lives, than there are people fighting in a war. My question to you is, are we fighting the right war? Are we putting the resources in the right war? Because there's another battle going on with our people, with us. You know what I'm saying? We need to think about that. You know, when you look at when you look at people around you, it's just like, you know, maybe there's a reason why this person doesn't care about how they look anymore, how they take care of themselves. There's not because he's lazy, not because he's uh, uh, waste time or whatever. There's something, he needs something. It's a cry for help, right? We all know that. We see people, we know that. You know what I'm saying? We know it in our heart, but then there's that outside conditioning. Ah, oh, fucking lazy, whatever. No, don't do that anymore. We need each other. We need each other. And that's something that I've really learned. It's always something. It's always been something that I believed in, but now I understand it differently. I understand it differently. You know, be compassionate to one another, but do it in a way where you don't overextend yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, anyways, shit, that's a long video, eh? I'll do my push-ups and finish it off like that. 25. Guys, if you guys ever need anybody to talk to, feel free to reach out. Um, you know, um, I'm always here. I'm always here. If you guys need anybody's, I can only speak about anxiety because that's kind of what I've been through, and going through currently. Kind of dipped into depression as well. So, um, if any of you are experiencing anxiety, that's more than just, oh shoot, I got a test tomorrow. Like, you're feeling a little bit anxious. If it's more than that, I think you kind of get what I'm saying. Reach out to me. I got a whole bunch of good resources. I can direct you toward a good coach that I know. You know, yeah. So yeah. All right. Cool. I'll do my push-ups. Oh. All right. All right. That's it. Peace.